In this short video, we will show you how to set up a general touch of plain bob doubles in both Virtual Belfry and the Abel simulator software. This is 120 changes long and allows the ringer or ringers using the simulator to experience each piece of work with 4 bobs being called. The simulator will of course call these for you automatically, so you can concentrate on your student, but of course you'll need to know when the calls are going to take place. In composition terms, this touch is bob, plain course, repeated 4 times. So a bob is called, then there are 2 plain courses, then another bob, and so on until the end. For the purists among you, you will of course realise that the composition is false, meaning that the rows are repeated, but this is not really important when you're teaching your student. So first let's look at setting this up in Virtual Belfry. So in Virtual Belfry, all of the controls are on the left hand side of the screen where you have the main tab, and under here what we have done is we have selected the methods, and then we have if we select plain bob doubles, you'll see that a box will pop out, and below here there is a number of compositions that have been put together on this particular machine. You may or may not have some of these. I think extent with fibers and observation bell is included as default. These I think are probably ones that I've put in. And at the bottom you have a button that says composition list. And this is where we start to add our new composition, because that's what we are creating. It's a simple composition. So if we click that, and we will get the same list, and we now need to click new because we're going to add a composition. Now we have to give it a name. In this case we will call it Art Plain Bob Doubles Training 1. You can call it whatever you want, doesn't matter. The number of bells is 5, and the length, well, we know that this is going to end up as a 120. So we can put that in. You don't have to put something in there, but if you do, then it will make it easier for you to recognize the length of the piece when you come to select it. And then apart from that, what we need to do in here is to actually put in what we want the composition to be, and that's simply using letters. So if we say the first course will be a bob course, the next course will be a plain course, another plain course, and then we repeat that 4 times. That is a very simple way of inputting it. You can do very fancy things in all of the composition software, so you can put the number 4 in brackets and have 4 lots, but for our purposes now we're just looking at doing a very simple composition, and that will suffice. We then have to look at one more important thing. With most simulator software, when you get back to rounds, the simulator generally will stop. When you're ringing normally on Virtual Belfry, there is a keep going option here, but that's not relevant when you're using compositions, and you have to put it in here. So what you're saying is, if we put that to 1, it means ignore the first time that you see rounds when you're ringing, which will be after 69 changes, and just keep going. And the next time you get to the end and you see a rounds, then you can stop at that point. There are other tabs here. The methods tab just says which methods you're using, so if you were going to splice multiple methods together, then they would appear in here. You can put headings in if you particularly need to for doing particular compositions, and then there's other details, and you can put the composer, the source, or the notes. So on here, for example, we can put in some simple notes. So everyone gets to do one of everything. including 4 blows behind. And we can also put a note in to say it's 120 changes. We know that because we put the length up here, but it's false. That should satisfy the purists. Okay, if we click OK, that will now appear on the top here. And if we say choose, this will actually put it as the active method that we're going to ring. Now, I don't intend to ring it. I mean, I can do. We can click start and then go. But realistically, if we just have a look at the blue line, we can see what's happening. So if we click generate, and that will show us the blue line for the composition we've done. So we're looking at bell number 3 here at the moment. You can see that there's a bob occurs at this point. We can select the other bells at the top here. We've then got another bob, and so on until we finish back at rounds at the end. So that's all we have to do within Virtual Belfry to set up this very simple composition for playing bob doubles. So if we now look at Abel, and Abel is very similar in the way that you construct this, with the exception of the way you get into your compositions. At the moment, you can see at the top here we have the 5 bell setup loaded. There is one in here that's called exercises, and if we go to open, we will find learning exercises, and this will load up all of the exercises that are in that particular file, but we're going to add a new one. So to add exactly the same composition, so 4 bobs with 2 plain courses in between, we go to edit and we say add composition, and it's going to be a method composition because we're going to be using plain bob doubles. So in fact, if we go here, we can then choose the method that we want to use, which is plain bob doubles. We give it a name again, so let's call it art plain bob doubles 1, and the PLA here indicates that you have you're using plain bob doubles. And then we simply do exactly the same thing below it. Bob, plain, 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 bob, oops, bob, plain, plain, bob, plain, plain, bob, plain, plain, and again. And we have to put in our stop at rounds. Now, in Abel, you're actually going to be putting that as 2. It's just a slightly different way that the 2 programs work, but you're going to be stopping at 2. With Abel, there is a button here on the top on the toolbar, which means stop at rounds. At the moment, that's pushed in. When we load this composition, that will come out because it will this figure here will take over. If you did want to stop after 69 changes, then you could actually push that button and it would stop the first time it sees rounds. There's nothing else that we need to do. We just can click OK, and we have now the composition loaded here, and we can start ringing. You'll notice that the stop at rounds is not set anymore. Start ringing and go into the method.
Plain bob. Bob.
Okay, and you can see there that it has called the first bob.
Stand.
So there you have it, very simply how to set up a 120 of plain bob doubles for a simulator, both for Virtual Belfry software and for the Abel software. There is no more than that, but you can use exactly the same process to create your own exercises, to do just about anything that you need to while teaching your student plain bob doubles. Hope this has been useful, and we'll see you all very soon.